Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday, February 4th, 2026 edition of the Finance Meeting. It is 5 p.m., and it's time to go ahead and call our meeting to order. As far as our roll call this evening, we do have all members present here this evening, with the exception of Member Farley. Having conducted the opening roll call and declared that we do have a quorum physically present, I'd like to inform the committee that Member Farley has requested to participate remotely under County Board Rule 2020 in accordance with the Opening Meetings Act. Notice was received from Member Farley in accordance with our rules. Per Board Rule 2020, Member Farley will be authorized to attend the meeting electronically if a motion to approve the member's electronic attendance is made, seconded, and adopted by a majority of the members of the committee. May I have a motion to approve Member Farley's remote attendance? We have a motion by Member Bessler and a second by Member Klaus. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries, and that means that we will show on the record that Member Farley is present for the meeting. Do we have Member Farley on the line?
Here.
Can we get an
Member
audio
Farley,
check?
can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Very wonderful. Yes, we can. Thank you very
Excellent.
much, Member Farley. All right, let's go ahead and continue on with our business this evening. Item number 2 is our consent agenda. This is where we have item A, the approval of the minutes, January 7th, 2025 regular meeting, and the recommended approval of bills and transfers, if any, to the county board. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor? Motion by Vice Chair Friedrich and a second by Member Roseman Mendoza. Comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on that consent agenda. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to item number 3, appearance by members of the public and/or county employees. Administrator Taylor, have we had anyone apply to speak this evening?
Chair Lehman, we've had no requests tonight.
With no request, that carries us on to item number 4, departmental matters. This is where we get to connect with our Director of Animal Services Program, Ms. Marshall Thompson, who has no items to be presented for action this evening, but does have her monthly report as well as any other information. I'll turn it over to you, Ms. Thompson.
I have lots of great things that are happening with the program, lots of buzz, lots of volunteers coming and wanting to provide service. So we're hosting Illinois Wesleyan students this Saturday. There's about 15 to 17 that want to come and visit and check out what kind of opportunities we have for them. So I'm super excited to take the 4 new volunteers that we have and introduce them to the up-and-coming volunteers, create an orientation, and I'm really liking how that's developing. So I'll keep you posted and updated as more information comes available. The students are also coming back for 2 fun days on March 14th and March 21st. The Office of Residential Life with Illinois Wesleyan University reached out and wanted to connect and have 2 days where we could like pick projects and help make enrichment toys, maybe do some graphic designing things for t-shirts, and try to do some adoption promotions. They want to do selfies. So we're super willing to help out there. We have 2 volunteers, Tara and Eric, who are coming pretty regular. They're just wanting to come for a couple hours in the evening and walk dogs. So we'll be enhancing our dog walking opportunities there. So Amy, our kennel technician, has been doing a fantastic job and helping us connect with those hours after work. So I'm very happy about how that's progressed. And I connected with the Veterans Assistance Program and reaching out to see if there's any veterans that would like to come out and volunteer. And I've hosted several tactical meetings with other rescues and how we can collaborate and connect and get more animals transferred out. And so those meetings have been going really well, in addition to getting more adoption promotion volunteers. So you'll see some of our new fun creations and other business this evening. So I'm happy to take any questions. If anyone has anything.
Thank you very much. Comments or questions from the committee, please? All right, seeing none, thank you very much for all of the efforts that you're doing to continue to bring in volunteers. It's fantastic to hear that even in the cold weather, you've got folks who are willing to come out and take the dogs out for a walk and like that. So
It's been great.
Congratulations on the continued focus with getting more folks out into your great facility. Cheers. All right, let's go ahead and continue on to item 4B, where we would welcome our county clerk, Ms. Kathy Michael, this evening, who has no items to be presented for action, but Ms. Michael did let the committee know that her department would not be able to be present this evening because they are in the midst of all of the preparation for early voting, which is kicking off very soon. So we thank Ms. Michael for the heads up there, but she does provide her monthly report for the recording division. So 4B2A, might any members of the committee have any questions or comments regarding the content of the monthly report with the recording division? All right, seeing none, we'll continue on to item 4C, where we get to welcome our county auditor, Ms. Michelle Anderson. So 4C1A, Ms. Anderson has nothing to present for action this evening, but is here to present for information. So Ms. Anderson, I'll go ahead and turn over to you for anything you'd like to share with the committee.
I don't know that I have anything special to share, just working on rolling forward financials while we're in the blackout for the new system and doing what I can while not being able to enter anything. I think I went through about 2 reams of paper last week printing reports, so I had stuff so I could do stuff in case I couldn't access something during the blackout. So, or lockout, I don't know what we're calling it, but I think you know what I mean.
Excellent. Comments or questions from the committee for Ms. Anderson and the auditing department? Yeah, member Klaus.
So from your perspective, how are you feeling about the new ERP system from like, it's going to be obviously changing procedures and the training on the actual applications and stuff. So from your perspective, how are things looking for your role, do you think?
I mean, I think the new is always apprehensive, you know, once you've used an old system for, what, 15 years, I think. But, I mean, I think we were apprehensive going into it 15 years ago and everything worked out just fine. So, I mean, I don't see there being any, obviously, growth hiccups, of course, are probably to be expected, but I don't see any issues.
So you feel like you're in a good position being like on time, or we're ahead of schedule, behind schedule from a training and preparation, or you're feeling good about things at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Additional comments or questions from the committee? I'll add, it's fantastic to hear that you feel like we're in a good place for the ERP transition. You know, that's a really big step, and there's been a lot of cross-functional work that's gone into it. So thank you for your efforts to be in a place where you're feeling like you're good. I was curious if you could give us any kind of update in the early auditing processes. So we know we're in the kind of infancy or the very beginning of the process for FY25. Is there anything of note that would be helpful for the committee to?
No, I mean, this is very early. We still have departments submitting 2025 invoices. I mean, we are nowhere, I mean, we're getting started on the end of year stuff, but I mean, we still have departments submitting 2025 stuff, at least expense-wise, I would assume revenue-wise as well. So, which is same as every year.
Okay, so great. It's good to know that we're at least on standard with that one. One of the questions that came up in last month's meeting was regarding the fixed assets report. And seeing that one of those is traditionally shared with the Finance Committee. And we didn't recall that the FY 2024 fixed asset report had been shared with the Finance Committee during last year's processes. Is that something that, so I know it'll take a little digging back to get it, because that's what would have been done last year. Could you share that?
I think it was a policy change last year in the fall, correct? I think that was the capital asset change in the fall, I believe. I think it's a new request,
The
the fixed asset report.
sending that in annually,
Yeah, because the two options we really have are the summary that you get in the ACFR annually, which is a couple of, maybe 3 pages of footnotes. I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head. Or there's like a 200-page report, and there's really not a lot in the middle. So I can send everybody a 200-page report if you'd like.
So I know that we did change, Ms. Anderson is correct, that we changed the policies at the end of year last year on, or the beginning of this year. I can't remember now exactly when it went through committee, but we did update some of those financial policies and fixed assets. I don't believe that that was a new change. But, so it is the pleasure of the committee what report, what type and style of report you would want from Ms. Anderson.
Because I really have like a 2 to 3 page summary, which is in the ACFR. You guys got that months ago. Or there's a 200-page report that gives you probably more information than you want, but I would be happy to send it. It's just, I am warning you that it's,
quite tedious.
yes.
Is that something that's available online that we would be able to
I
access?
don't believe
or-
so, but I could send it to PDF.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful just to have it, to have a basis for comparison and
So I
knowledge
guess
and
my other
understanding.
question would be,
Yeah.
there's multiple ways to run it. Do you want
Okay.
it by department? Do you want it by category, i.e. land versus buildings versus equipment versus infrastructure?
I think
Or do you want it by department?
I think department would probably
Okay.
be most advantageous, since that's typically how we operate and see funds and things like that, is, budgetarily by department.
I mean, it's great when systems give you like 3,000 reports, but it's also kind of a curse when they give you, because you have like 16 ways that you can run a report, and it just, whichever way you'd like it.
Understand, yeah. I think it would be helpful to at least have that from the 2024, to know what we're getting into, and really understand, since that is one of the things in statute. It was just a point of clarity and point of interest, since it was something that we'd not experienced previously.
Okay.
So,
So I can send that. The 2025, I would not guess would be final until, I mean, probably close to the audit.
Sure.
In all honesty, it would be final before then, but I don't know how much sooner, because number one, I hate to release early reports, early numbers before we go final with the audit, because as soon as I do, they're going to request, the outside audit's going to request a change, and then it's going to be like, I'm going to have to make those changes. I'm always leery giving Ms. Taylor preliminary numbers on fund balance. I'm like, well, who is this for? Because I want to know if it's an internal use or an external use. If it's just for Cassie, I have no problem giving that number. If it's for outside, I'm very hesitant to give something unaudited.
oh yeah, we
So,
certainly
but-
don't need preliminary.
But we're still paying 2025 bills, like I said, so it's still conceivable that we're paying for assets that were acquired during 2025, and they just haven't sent the bill. You'd be surprised what departments miraculously uncover in February annually. There's a few departments that are mine.
Okay, thank you. I believe Member Class has a
I just have a
question.
related question. Procedurally, does the reports or some version of those get distributed to like the department heads, and they're supposed to be reviewing them like annually to validate that, like, yes, I still am in possession of all these assets, or, oh, look, this one we can't find it, or whatever? Because what we're talking about here is the final output of all that. But can somebody refresh us maybe a little bit on the process that goes into that, on how it works?
The auditor contacts the departments and asks for updated lists, so she could speak to that.
Yeah, I can download it into an Excel workbook too, if you'd rather have that, actually. And then I usually send that out to departments annually once I feel everything has been added that should be added. And then make sure everything's deleted that hasn't. But, things like vehicles or anything like that, when we buy a new one, much like if you buy a new personal vehicle, it's got the trade-in. So even if the department does not do what they're supposed to do and send the capital item release, I can look at the VIN number and go through the system, pull it, and remove that vehicle. I have documentation that we traded it, the department bought the new vehicle. So, I mean, stuff like the big things like that, it's going to be a desk or a table or something like that, which is really what we're having them go through, which are more controlled assets. They're not our true capital assets.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, and then if you can export like into Excel, would be better than PDF, because then I can go in there, you can sort, subtotal, all kinds of stuff. So even if it's 10,000.
I will warn you,
line.
it's not a perfect export,
Well, we'll
but
we'll
it's
take
a
what we can get.
starting
Right,
point.
we'll
But
take
I
what
just
we can
want to,
get.
it's
Yeah.
not pretty.
It's the same information, we can try at least,
Okay.
so, thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your willingness to get that one for us. And great suggestion, Member Kloss, on Excel as an easier source to maybe sort information.
Do you want that before the next, or do you want it next meeting?
If you have the opportunity to provide it beforehand, that would be fantastic. Then as we have,
I believe I can run reports right now, because I looked something up in inquiry today. Yes, you have. Okay.
That way, next meeting, perhaps, if there are any questions on process and things like that, we could reach out. Excellent. Thank you very much. Last question I have for you is, we missed you last month, and so everybody was on the hot seat, but you didn't get a chance. So I'd love to hear from you. Considering 2025, what are you most proud of?
You probably hit me at a bad week.
That's okay. We can hear from you next month if it's
Okay,
better.
maybe next month.
Okay.
It's been,
That's fair.
I think my kid's been sick about 35 of the last 40 days, so.
Oh, no. Well, certainly giving wishes for good and
Knock on wood,
solid health
we've had 3 healthy days, so.
in 26.
But I'm definitely knocking on wood, so.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your assistance and sharing this evening. We'll go ahead and move on to item number 4 now this evening, 4D. This is where we get to welcome our Supervisor of Assessments, Mr. Timothy Jorsak, who also has no items to be presented for action, but does have his monthly report. So, Mr. Jorsak, over to you for your report.
Thank you, Chairman Lehman. Excuse me, members of the committee. As always, I appreciate the opportunity to come here tonight. Just by way of update, you can see in the report that I put out, I did attach in that report an abridged version of the ratio study, the final abstract analysis that we got from the Department of Revenue. There is a lot of information in those reports. I don't expect you to be able to digest all those numbers. I put the most important table in the text of the report document you can look at. And you can see that's what we're shooting for year over year, is trying to get that number in that last column, the 3-year average, as close to 33 1/3 as we can get as possible. And so you can see sort of how we got there. Those increases that we apply every year when the notices go out, those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9% factors that go on each township, are what is necessary to get that number in that last column up to 33 1/3, and that's our goal every year. So when I say in there that we have to make some pretty difficult decisions when we do that, you can see there's rhyme and reason as to why we do what we do there. Again, I wanted to give a particular shout out, a hat tip to the clerk's office, to Clerk Michael, and to Glenn Swanson, the extensionist, for their quick turnaround and helping us get this report downstate so that we could get our final abstract returned quickly and get the 2025 payable 2026 tax bills out as quickly as we can. I also wanted to just give everybody a reminder. We did drop in the mail last week, and they're actually hitting mailboxes as we speak. Our phone calls are starting to come in for the senior property tax exemption benefits that we mail out every year. Those are hitting mailboxes right now. Every senior citizen in McLean County who is receiving an over 65 exemption, in addition to individuals who are receiving disabled veterans exemptions and disability exemptions, are getting a mailing from us right now reminding them that if they have exemptions that require annual verification, they need to work in the process to get that verification in. And for those seniors over 65 who are receiving the senior citizen exemption but may not at this point or heretofore have been able to qualify for the senior freeze, which is the one that's income restricted, we remind them every year that, hey, your circumstances may have changed. You may now qualify for this exemption, even if you haven't in the past. So every senior citizen gets that. And again, just an additional reminder that for this cycle that's going on right now, this application period, this income the income limit has increased by $10,000 to $75,000. So if you have seniors who up to this point they haven't qualified for the senior freeze because they were income capped at $65,000, it's gone up to $75,000. So we anticipate a lot more seniors being able to qualify for this benefit. So if you know seniors, I would remind any senior that take a look at this. You may well now qualify for this exemption, even though you haven't in the past. And our staff is always happy to help walk folks through the process and get them qualified to receive that exemption. And again, I just want to say thank you to my colleagues, Ms. Anderson and Ms. McNeil, for helping us get this mailing out in time so that we weren't affected by the ERP blackout, so we could get the funds necessary to get these printed out. They really helped us get that slipped in. So thank you to you very much. And that's all I got. So if you have any questions, I'm always happy to help.
Comments or questions from the committee? No? Seeing none, thank you so much. Thank you for always being so very thorough and keeping us up to date in exactly where you are in the process, as well as your communications with members of the county. And also, congratulations to your football team on the big win.
Thank you. Go Hoosiers.
There you go. Looks like we have other excitement on the board. It's a fun season. All right, moving right along to 4E. This is where we get to welcome our county treasurer, Ms. Becky McNeil. Ms. McNeil, thank you for being here this evening. 4E1A is the accept and place on file the county treasurer's monthly financial report that we have distributed. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion? A motion by member Loeffler, second by Vice Chair Friedrich. Ms. McNeil, over to you with the report.
Thank you. The January summary of tax revenue shows that our receipts in the categories that we track, 1,727,000. This is a nice little bump up from January of 25 of 1,537,000, about 190,000 higher than a year ago. We're obviously in the very first month of 2026, so but when we pull in the number for budget for the first month, budgeted would be 1,570,000, and again we've got 1,727,000. So if we could just keep that going, that'd be great. The shared sales tax revenue, you've got the January receipts there. Those are actually, that's the October report that comes in from the state. The Bloomington and Normal amounts are listed there, 526,000 compared to 469,000 a year ago. That fund equity is 20,936,000. The property tax levy this year, we the county filed a levy for 25 payable 26 in the amount of $50,075,698. Those tax bills will go out towards the end of April, and we'll start those collections. And as you know, we don't start pulling in distributions until May and June, but that is coming. And in regards to the multiplier, there have been so many years in which the county has gotten the multiplier outside of the month of January. So, I mean, for the county to get the multiplier from Illinois Department of Revenue during the month of January is extraordinary. It is such a huge accomplishment. And on my end, when I see that email come in, then I know we're on track. The next thing is extension, so which the clerk's office is going to be working on. The county motor fuel, instead of showing the renewal and the regular, I just combined them for the month of January, so you can see how they compared to January 25. On both of those, we were up. So, any questions on that report? Moving into the cash and investment report, rates did come down a little bit on the Illinois funds. That rate was 3.83 at the end of January. You know, I think that the 3% range is what we're going to see here in 2026. I don't think we're going to see those 4% rates that we had last year. But if you look overall across all funds, we have $122,998,000. Last year, the interest accrued revenue across all funds, $4,229,000. That was compared to $5,311,000 in 24, and then you see in 23 we had about the same interest revenue across all funds. So like I said earlier, I think that the 3% range is where we're going to primarily be during 2026. Any questions on this report? The next report is the nursing home summary. And in the first area there, those are the major sources of revenue to the nursing home: the Medicaid, the private pay, the VA, and the Medicare. This report is through 12/31 because the nursing home is about a month behind. So where I come in and I talk about January, as far as the county goes, for the nursing home, we're still working in 2025. But this gives us an initial snapshot of how the nursing home ended in 2025. There are many, many entries that are yet to be posted. Accrued revenue pretty much is posted, but there are still some transfers that we got to finish up. And then there are still some expense entries that are going to be booked back into 2025. But on the major sources of revenue there for the nursing home, you can see their year-to-date was $9,656,000. As far as budget, 93.3% of budget. The year-to-date revenue, and number 3, $10,127,536 accrued. Year-to-date expenses accrued, $10,613,000. So expenses are exceeding revenue at this point in time. The receivable balance at the end of December is $4,758,000, or $68,000, sorry about my eyes. The cash, negative $1,817,458, and the fund equity at the end of December, $916,822. The nursing home, in addition to the fund equity, the nursing home still has this reserve for bad debt that gets adjusted at the end of 2025 as part of our audit, getting ready for our audit. At the end of 2024, it was $2,950,000. Okay. Any questions on this report? And then the final report is the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry,
My
Rebecca.
apologies.
I did have a quick question. I know it's still preliminary, so you might not have the answers or whatever, but it seems like in November, the revenue was significantly less, as well as the expenses were significantly higher, which really led to almost a $500,000 deficit for the year, because the first 3 quarters, we were all doing pretty good, but significant change in the fourth quarter. So do you think, is your gut telling you that's just the entries, or is there something else that is starting to trend different?
That is payroll. The county had 3 paydays during December, and the first payday, I think it was on December 2nd, that technically was accrued back to November. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Is the 3 paydays, the 3 payrolls that were accrued to the expense lines during the month of November.
Apologies on the mismember class. Can go back with the rest of the report. Thank you very much.
But I mean, we still have 2 more months of entries that are going to be put into 2025. And that's not just for the nursing home fund, that's across the board. It's really, we do get some entries during the month of January, but a lot of them start coming in February and in March, so.
Okay, thank you.
Then the next report is the Blue Cross Blue Shield report. January of 26 is certainly higher than January of 25. The county did get a credit in 2025. I can't remember offhand if it was $55,000 or $75,000, but the county did get a credit at the beginning of 2025. The county did not get that credit this year. I think it was part of our contract renewal or something like that. But the county did not get it in 2026. So that is contributing to the reason why January 2026 looks significantly higher than January of 2025. So. Okay, any questions in regards to the report? I would like to talk about the ERP project. You'd asked the auditor earlier about, what her office is doing right now. So last Friday was the last day that my staff could enter into the .NET program. And so right now, what we are doing is a tremendous amount of testing. All of the processes that they do, they're going through and they're testing it. And running reports, seeing how everything will post, and we'll continue to do that. But we also have numbers coming in from migration of data, which we're cross-checking, vendor files, that once that data all migrates over, then my staff, they're going in and they're cross-checking to see if it's what they expect it to look like. And they've identified things there that our project manager is working with Tyler and Coa Hills to update. So during this time, it may be a downtime as far as processing, active processing goes, but we're very, very active with testing, testing data migration, testing processes, just going through the step sheets and getting them updated. A lot of communication with our project manager, as well as getting ready for the payroll side, which you may have heard. Payroll will continue to be done on the old program up until July. So a huge task there was to work on a export of that journal. Not only exporting it out, but they also had to put it in the new chart of account format so that we could import it in. So we were able to test that process on Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Yesterday, Tuesday, and it was very successful. And so that took a huge weight off of a lot of us, because that was a very significant program for Tyler to write for us and for us to be able to get into the system. So that's how things are going. Things are going good. And next week, I think we'll be doing a lot more fine tuning to get ready to roll out on the 17th. So, any questions?
Ms. McNeil, thank you so much for all of the efforts that you have put in, that your team has put in, all of the hours and hours and hours of preparation and planning and training, and now being in this this position in this time where you're probably anxiously double checking everything and trying to make sure it's a smooth transition. Thank you for those efforts. Y'all are some unsung heroes. Any additional comments or questions regarding the ERP transition for Ms. McNeil? Thank you again. We'll go ahead and continue on then to item 4F, where we get to welcome our Director of Children's Advocacy Center and CASA program. Oh, we should probably vote. Thank you very much. Got so excited about the ERP project. Let's go ahead and vote then on 4E1A. That's a request and place on file the treasurer's monthly report. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Now we shall continue on and get to welcome our Director of the Children's Advocacy Center and CASA program, Eileen Pagan Vega. Welcome, Ms. Vega. Tonight, it looks like we have one action item as we welcome you to the committee. 4F1A is the request approval of a resolution amending the funding full-time equivalent positions resolution for 2026 case manager to lead case manager. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion? We have a motion by Member Roseman Mendoza and a second by Member Bessler. Ms. Vega, over to you.
Thank you. Good evening. I don't know how much you guys know, but we expanded the CASA program this past year into Ford and Logan counties. And with that, we have increased our staffing by 1.5 positions, and additional grants and everything like that have increased the responsibilities of that team. And we would like to reclassify one of the case manager positions to a supervisory position and a grade 9 position to allow that staff member to take more responsibilities around grant reporting, writing, and managing the additional 2 counties.
Thank you very much. Comments or questions for Ms. Vega on the requested change? Certainly exciting that the program was able to expand. Exciting to be able to be here with you this evening and discuss the potential change to support that. All right. Seeing no additional comments or questions from the committee, we'll go ahead and put 4F1A to a vote. That is the request approval of a resolution amending the funding full-time equivalent position for resolution of 2026 case manager to lead case manager. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you very much again for being here this evening, Ms. Vega. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the committee on department or anything like that?
Nothing else, but available for questions.
All right. Any comments or questions from the committee? All right. Thank you again very much for being here this evening and for your support to the county. We'll go ahead and continue on to 4G. 1, where we get to connect with our county administrator, Ms. Cassie Taylor, who has no items to be presented for action this evening, but who does have other information.
One item for, you must have an older,
Oh,
the
no.
older version.
Fabulous. Thanks, Bill.
So I do
Or
have
Member
one
Friedrich.
item to present.
Yeah. We've got item 4G1A, the request approval of the resolution for the McLean County Board authorizing the county board chair to enter into agreements for comprehensive insurance. All of those, or might I have a motion to talk about the comprehensive insurance? We have a motion by Member Loeffler and a second by Vice Chair Friedrich.
Thank you, Chair Lehman. So we do have some special guests here tonight. I have Rich Stakluska of AJ Gallagher here in the second row to assist with any questions you might have. But I also would like to turn this over to Taylor Williams because she and Don Rude were instrumental in working with AJ Gallagher to pull together these quotes for us this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Rude is unable to be here tonight, so I am filling in for him, but his memo was in the packet. Our risk management team did work with our broker to come up with these 2026 and 2027 proposals. This does reflect us becoming a member of the Illinois Association of County Board Members, and it is a 3-year commitment for this program. We have checked with other counties who are a part of the program, and they are happy with this, and it does reflect a decrease. So any other questions, I can try to help.
Question is your...
There we go. So you may have just touched on one of the answers, Taylor, but I was wondering, does it seem like more counties are going onto this program or jumping ship? I don't know if we have any firm numbers, but it sounded like from at least a couple that you had talked to, and I don't know if it's a couple or 10 or whatever, but it seems like the trend is that people aren't jumping ship, that it's, because it sounds good. I mean, obviously the numbers and it look like the risk is actually lower because it seemed like we're actually getting better coverage in a couple things, I think it was. So that would be the big thing. I'm saving money, but I'm taking on more risk. But if I got the same risk at a lower cost, seems like a no-brainer, so.
No, that's, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The bottom right is your red light on?
Oh, it is on. I wasn't sure if I could speak
Oh,
or
yeah,
not.
absolutely. Please do so.
But that's all correct. The staff memo was done very well. It was very accurate. The one thing I wanted to add to it is that this program was put together in 2006 and it was built around providing services to the members. So back in 2006, I had met with Kelly Murray, who's the executive director of the Illinois Association of County Board Members and Commissioners. There was a committee put together to see if this was a feasible, something feasible for the counties in Illinois. The problem at the time, I've been doing this for over 30 years, there was only 2 providers for insurance for counties at the time. And they were basically transactional, meaning here's your invoice, we'll see you in 9 months. They handled your claims, they handled your certificates, your auto ID cards and all that, but they weren't providing any services. And in that meeting, we sat there for 4 hours and talked about what they weren't getting. And then the last question was, are you going to be competitive? I said, I'm not concerned about that, because we looked around the room, all very good counties that were there, and it was, everybody was really managing the program. They had a good handle on what they were doing. They weren't just paying premiums and hoping for the best. But what we did is we put the program together now. You, as part of the program and as a member of the program, you will have a human resources consultant that will be working with you on policy manuals, safety handbooks, some training. They do some training, but baseline assessments and things like that. We have a legal hotline that goes with the program, so if the state's attorney has a question, they can contact Chuck, who's our lead attorney. You also get appraisals that will be done on any buildings over $1 million in values. Those are included in part of the cost. Sheriff's Department, we do have a grant program for if they are subscribing to Lexipol or Guard One, and the sheriff will know what those are. And then we also have, if you want to farm out some of your claims, let's just say the state's attorney's office is a little too busy, or there's a case that is beyond their expertise. We get a lot of strange claims. We use Heil Royster throughout the state because they have a number of different offices and they have a really good staff. We've had a lot of success with their team, not only in Peoria and Springfield, Champaign, but the staff there is really good, and we've done very well. So those are all included in there. Back in 2022, because Gallagher is the broker for McLean County, but we're also the administrator for CIRMA. So we have a dual role. And I was kind of counting in my head before the meeting started. I said, how many counties have I worked with over these years? And I stopped at like 50 or 60 because I handle pool programs, but I also handle individual counties as well. But what we looked at is the profitability of the program, and we're looking at adding quality members into the program. So the issue back in 2022 was that it wasn't a cost issue, it was that you have an occurrence-based form right now. And in the memo, it really clarifies what that is. If you have a claim today, and let's say in 15, 20 years, you get a claim that comes in, it goes back to this policy period. There's only a few companies out there that write that kind of a form. So this year I worked with the underwriters, they looked at your claims data, and they said, okay, I got both of the underwriters, our lead underwriter and our second underwriter, to agree to it. And they said that they're fine, they're comfortable with providing occurrence-based coverage. So we kind of went over that hurdle. It wasn't a price issue back in 2022, it was a coverage issue, because if I would have recommended that you switch policy forms, it would have opened up a gap. And for anybody who's been around for a long time, you had a wrongful conviction case prior to, I think it was 2010, that was a nightmare for the county. So it was lawsuits going all over the place between the insurance company. I think it actually went up to the state Supreme Court, and there was a verdict rendered in favor of McLean County. So, but you don't want to get into a situation where you're suing the insurance company because of their policy, the way it was issued, so.
Thank you very much. Additional comments or questions from the committee? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and put 4G1A to a vote then, which is our request approval of the resolution of the McLean County Board authorizing the county board chair to enter into agreements with Comprehensive Insurance. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much for your presence this evening and for your fantastic explanations.
Thank you, sorry for talking too long.
Oh, no, it absolutely fantastic and good information. We certainly appreciate it. We'll go ahead and continue then over to 4G2A. Ms. Taylor, any additional information that you'd like to share with the committee?
Just wanted to thank Rich again for coming tonight to help us explain our new process, our new group that will be added to. We are excited about that and the additional services that it provides to the county. As far as other information, our ERP has been talked a little bit about tonight with the Treasurer's Office. doing a very good summary of all the efforts by her office. I'd like to thank her office again for their Herculean efforts in keeping us on schedule with this project, but also the efforts with the validation and the just triple checking that we have things in place. I know Brenda Jones and her office has been wonderful to work with the payroll side and has a special expertise with that effort. So I want to call her out specifically with that, since she has mentioned payroll. Would also like to point out that Tony, Kyle, and Jillian, so Tony Grant and Kyle Mueller from my office, and then also Jillian Clifton from the IT office have been doing trainings. They have been chosen as the trainers for the financial systems process. So we did have our Tyler crew in for training on January 13th through the 15th, and then again just this last week, the 27th through the 29th. And then we are rolling those out to other departments as needed for office managers and people who will be entering data into the financial system. So the plan is to get our financial system turned over on February 16th. I think that's the date, 17th. 17th. And then we will be having further trainings on budget closer to the time that the county board approves the budget policy. So we keep that training fresh in their minds as they're entering their budgets. And then later on in the summer will be the rest of the HR processes and payroll as the treasurer described. So that's where we're at. It's a lot.
What a fantastic update. And it's so exciting that we are a mere 2 weeks away from the timeframe when everything will be turned over. So you mentioned Herculean effort. It certainly sounds like your department, Ms. McNeil, has done a Herculean effort, but also it's been a group effort. And I'd like to thank and recognize the administration team who has really put in a lot of hours and a lot of time and focus and brain power to make it happen. So thank you all for your efforts and support with this one as well. Comments or questions from the committee? All good on all other fronts? All right, we'll go ahead and move on to other business and communication. So you'll notice in your packet under other business and communication, 5A, it says the next meeting is March 4th, 2026 at 5 p.m. I'd like to make an adjustment that next meeting will take place on Thursday, March 5th, 2026 at 5 p.m. So same time, just one day later, a mere 24 hours later. And thank you to everyone who was able to adjust your calendars to make that meeting time. Any other comments or questions from the good of the committee? All right, seeing none, thank you all for your dedication and your service to the county. This meeting is adjourned.
She wanted to roll something at the very end
Oh.
for animal services.
Oh, and we have, please, let's see the animal services final bits, and Marshall, over to you.
I want to take this opportunity to thank Another Rescue, Clover's Cat Club, for transferring cats into their adoption program. The cats were very happy to hear they came today. They got to know all of their personalities. It was so wonderful to watch the cats connect. Who should we transfer today? I love this photo. Very happy moments, lots of smiles. Dexter needed a hug. Nobody else can hold that cat but Joey. He just loved him. They're taking special need cats like Cora, who's FIV positive. Those are harder to place cats because they'll need to be with other cats that have FIV. But they are willing to help with those, so that gives us another outlet. These two brothers are very shy, and they kind of stayed to themselves, and that's okay with Clover's Cat Club, because they took them anyway. Mango, please pick me. And yes, Clover's Cat Club picked Mango. She looked a little scruffy, but she was really soft. They also took Tinsley, who's FIV positive, and Gilligan, who is also FIV positive. And they're going to put them all in the same room and then adoption showcase them at their Clover's Cat Club location and find them a forever home. Paperwork, transfer paperwork takes a lot of work. I wanted to showcase some of those things so that I could, show that even though it's just an adoption, there's still those mandated reports that we have to get out, microchipping and their vaccination records and when they got spayed or neutered. And then, of course, share the joy that we're working together in collaboration with Clover's Cat Club. And I want to send a big thank you to them because they are talking about pulling a majority of their cats specifically from animal services. And I'll take that as a big win. So we want to keep those positivity things moving forward. And then the next one I'd like to showcase is DB's Senior Chihuahua Rescue. And Toby comes without fail. If it's a senior, smaller dog, she will pull without question and find them a forever home. And I'm very grateful because the senior dogs are harder to place sometimes. So hats off to Toby. And then here is our adoption gallery for some of our additional animals that are available for adoption. And you're going to see some different graphics coming up in the background. And these newer ones were completed by our new volunteer, Joe, and she's been doing a fantastic job and having so much fun. And her and Karen have been helping the program move quickly into what you're seeing today. And I can't wait to see where it goes tomorrow. So thank you to all of our newly invested McLean County Animal Services volunteer and volunteers for helping the animals and helping the community. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah. It's an immune suppressive disease in cats, and it's contagious to other cats, so they can get other things easier. And so they're infected through bites or contact, and so you want to keep them with other cats exclusive. They have a tiny bit shorter life, and you have to manage them a little bit different, but they still have a lot of love to give, and we want to encourage that every life possible can find a home. So I thank the board for allowing us to do that. It's great for the community, it's great for the animals, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for introducing us to some of the adorable pets that are available for adoption. And congratulations on a great partnership with the Cat Club. All right. And at this juncture, the meeting is adjourned. There we go. Thank